please, Obama, don't leave us with these crazy white people. Election day's here, and thank God, because that means we're at the end of this whole election race, whatever. Like, it's just been so annoying, and I've really been avoiding trying to talk about this whole situation, but since we've reached the end, I guess I might as well put in my 2 cents. And you know what? You guys are probably gonna hate my answer because I am a black person in America, but I think I'm gonna vote for Donald Trump. Yeah, right. Nah, but really, I am telling you that I'm not voting. But seriously, I'm not voting. Like, I'm not voting for one candidate in this election. I'm gonna tell you why, but first, let me just say this, because I know you're thinking it. I had a lot of people say this to me. I've had friends tell me this. I've had family tell me this, and they say black people should vote because our ancestors or whoever risked their lives and even died for us to vote. Shut up. Shut up. No, they didn't. No one died so we can vote. They were murdered by the people with the same type of mindset that you're trying to convince everyone else to vote for. Martin Luther King, Fannie Lou Hamer, Stokely Carmichael, Bob Moses, Ella Baker, the NAACP, the Black Panther Party, CORE, the NCC, all of these groups and organizations and people fought for our right to vote, not necessarily voting itself. They fought for the right, meaning the ability and the choice. We didn't have the choice back then. They marched and protested because we were being denied a fundamental right. And because of them and the work they put in, I am a registered voter. I voted for the first time when I was 18, and I have the ability and the choice to vote every time the opportunity comes around. But that's the key word here, is choice. So just like how I have the ability and choice to exercise that right, I also have the ability and choice to not participate in it if I don't want to. We have the right to bear arms. It doesn't mean I gotta walk around strapped everywhere I go just because someone fought for that right. I'm definitely not trying to discourage people from voting, because I definitely think the thoughts and opinions of free people in a democratic society is extremely important, and I would always encourage people to become more knowledgeable about politics, because when you don't know what's going on in the world around you, you're at a definite disadvantage. Just understand that with the current state of politics right now, voting in presidential elections, especially this one, really is just an illusion of choice. Like, you're being given options, not choices, and at the end of the day, if you're not even within the top 1 to 5% of the country, you're not even gonna really benefit from either of these candidates anyway. But back to the main point. There's 2 main reasons why I'm not voting this time around. The first is because there aren't any candidates that I believe stand for the things that I stand for, are fighting against, or even really addressing the issues that I think are extremely important, and quite frankly, I don't trust any of them in the slightest. And the second reason why I'm not voting is because as a person who is pretty much against everything that our American political system stands for, it's kind of counterintuitive, hypocritical, and contradicting for me to vote for either of these candidates who stand for just about everything I'm against, and because I have an obligation to vote, when in reality, voting for either of these candidates makes what I'm fighting for that much more difficult to acquire. You want to talk about all these black figures who fought for us to vote? Well, they also didn't get their asses beat, lawns torched, and murdered for us to vote for someone like Donald Trump or any other political figure who's aiding in the oppression of black people. And I believe that our desire and demand for freedom and justice in this country has to manifest itself in every little thing that we do. So how can you demand change while still participating in a system that dehumanizes its citizens and perpetuates their dependency? Ooh, that was good. I gotta write that one down. So when I'm in my 80s and 90s talking to my little grandbabies about how I was trying to fight the system when I was younger, you're definitely not about to catch me in my little granny rocking chair talking about how I voted for Trump or Hillary because I had to. Like, fuck out of here with that. If you're voting out of a false sense of obligation or fear, you probably shouldn't be voting at all. And to address the people who say your vote doesn't count, I don't necessarily agree with that, because if votes didn't really matter, they wouldn't have tried to keep us from voting for so long. So I do think votes count. I mean, we all know that it depends because these political niggas be cheating. It's just that if I'm gonna vote, I want my vote to count for something that I actually stand for. Like, I mean, I'm not expecting the perfect presidential candidate. Like, that probably doesn't even exist. But if I disagree with more than like 70% of your policies, don't trust you, and actually fear what more damage you're gonna do to the country, I don't think you deserve my vote. But I haven't been disassociating myself from politics altogether, just TV politics, like all the stuff they show you on the surface, because it's pretty much all nonsense. What I'm doing, what I would encourage other people to do, whether you vote or not, is to pay more attention to the politics that doesn't get big time media coverage. Before I moved out here back in Oakland, I was paying a lot more attention to local politics. I was able to sit into a lot of city meetings. I was working with groups and organizations who were trying to fight gentrification, working on economic economics, trying to make changes to the school system and stuff like that. You need to pay much more attention to local politics, city councilmen and officials and members, state politics, governors, lobbyists, stuff like that. These people have much more direct control over what goes on in your city and in your state, and there's a higher probability of you actually being able to bring about more effective change at this level of politics. These are the people who have direct control over local schools and the school board, police departments, financial aid, etc. And on top of that, they're much easier to get in contact with. Like, you're not about to text Obama like, hey my nigga, you need to fix this healthcare bill ASAP. No, but you can build real relationships with city council members, local judges, the chief of police, and other people with positions of power whose everyday work immediately affect your lives. Not enough people pay attention to the politics of their own city and state, yet you want to bring about some type of national political movement by going out and protesting Trump rallies? Like, does that even make sense to you? How many of you guys are even familiar with your city and state's officials and representatives? Like, you really don't even know what's going on in your own area, but you want to put your safety on the line by going out and protesting something Donald Trump tweeted. Like really? Really? And I've said it before and I'll say it again, politics is not about consciousness, it's about interest. And I see a very big problem in this country that myself and many others are working to solve. And if you're not with us, you're against us. Hillary is not with me, Donald is for damn sure not with me, and none of them are getting my vote. The way I see it, when you vote for someone, you're giving them a little slice of your power. Like, you're giving them a little bit of your voice. Because to me, a vote means I'm giving you the ticket to represent me. And that's not always a bad thing, because we can't all be the voice, we can't all be in charge. Like, we need leaders, but why would you give even an inch of your power to someone who doesn't stand for the things that you stand for? Like, why would you give your voice to someone you wouldn't even fuck with? That's like asking your worst enemy to give the obituary at your funeral. Like what? And y'all want to say you have a duty to vote. By not voting for Trump or Hillary, what am I actually losing? Because I for damn sure am not gaining anything. And yes, I'm fully aware of the fact that one of these will be our president. Like, I'm not stupid, I know how it works. But I'm also not about to contribute to that bullshit, especially not because I'm told that I have to. Let me see if I could get this quote right. Find out just what any people will quietly submit to, and you have found the exact measure of injustice and wrong which will be imposed upon them. And this will continue until they are resisted by either words or blows, or with both. The limits of tyrants are prescribed by the endurance of whom they oppress. Woo! Frederick Douglass, spitting hot fire. But what I will encourage you to do, if you still want to vote but genuinely don't want to vote for Hillary or for Donald Trump, like, don't try to choose between the lesser of two evils. You don't have to pick either or. Isn't there a fill in the blank option where you can still put in Bernie Sanders or Jill Stein or shit, these nuts? I don't know, I've only voted once, to be honest. But anyway, don't let anyone tell you what you have to do. Like, if you morally don't fuck with something or someone, like, stand your ground, like, stick to your guns.